So we're going to start with our blanket rolled the long way. And then bring your blanket right up to the base of your spine and roll down over it. Bring your feet into standing. Oh, yeah, I may not be able to do that, but you guys can do that. I'm having some dizziness and I can't decide if it's my neck is out of alignment or if it's inner ear. No.
I said, oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, it's really bizarre because it's, so I'm gonna have everybody else lie down over your blanket. I thought I could do that. My neck said no. So we're gonna open our feet wider than hip distance. And if you feel dizzy, just come back up to seated and you can be in easy pose. And then allow your knees to drop together. I can lay flat, that's good. And drop those knees together. And allow those arms just to come into cactus. And if you find that the pectoralis muscles, that's the muscles across the front of your chest, are saying no, open your cactus a little wider because it puts a different pressure on the front part of your chest, opening into a T position versus having your hand in cactus. It rolls the upper part of your arm differently. And begin to notice how the body is settling in around the blanket. Opening that heart space. Giving yourself the opportunity to reverse the direction that the arms generally go, which is forward. And notice what's happening in the breath. Is the breath moving slowly? Is it moving quickly? Is it shallow? Is it deep? Just notice. And feel yourself beginning to drop into the space of allowing. Allowing what is. Allowing the change in the body to come in the time of which it needs. And so if you find that you're having good release right here, bring your attention to the base of the spine, engage the pelvic floor slightly, and notice how when you draw your belly button down and up, how that changes your position on the blanket. And if you have the space in your body, lengthen through the right leg, lengthen through the left leg, and make sure that core remains supported because it will change how you're lying on the blanket. You want to protect the low back, always protecting the low back. Let go of the feet, feel yourself begin to drop just momentarily into Shavasana here. It's a working Shavasana because your heart space is opening, the pelvic floor is supportive. And find your breath. At this point, we're not doing breath work, we're just noticing how the breath comes in and out of the body. Become really clear on where do you breathe to? Does your breath breathe you? Do you breathe the breath? It doesn't matter, it just is more of information gathering. Does the breath travel to the bottom of the lungs or only halfway? In some people, it doesn't even go halfway. It goes to the upper chest. Just notice. Nicely done. On the next inhale, bring your hands down to the lower part of your ribs. Feel your fingertips just roll over the rib cage so that you can kind of feel under the ribs. And on your next inhale, inhale so that you feel your fingertips raise up. So take a nice deep inhale, filling to the bottom of the lungs. Pause. And then exhale all the way out. And pause. Deep breath in. And let it out. One more time, deep breath in. And let it out. And then return to normal breath, leaving your hands there. And noting where the lower part of your lungs is. How does that change your breath? Just notice. Nicely done. And on the next inhale, begin to find your way off your blanket. So bring your feet in. We're not leaving the floor, just leaving the blanket. Roll to your right side. Pull that blanket out from underneath you. Move it out of the way and bring your knees into your chest. Gently rocking side to side. Begin to feel that low back open. Notice how this changes the breath, just bringing those knees in. Bringing them into your chest, rocking side to side. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do. And then bring those feet the width of the mat and maybe a little bit wider. Open those arms into a T position. I think everybody's spread out enough. Be mindful of the things that are around you. Inhale, engage that pelvic floor, and then exhale, allow those knees to travel to the left side of the body. We're after the right leg. So you're gonna feel this down the front of your right leg. Make sure your pelvic floor is engaged. There's a little bit of a twist that happens here. And we're also catching the IT band of the right leg. So we're working this from your hip point all the way to your knee. Take a nice deep breath in. If you have the space in your body, put that left foot on top of the outside of your knee. Now, that may not be accessible to you. So drop your knee all the way to the floor. Feet and standing, and then this way. There you go. So it just changes it a little bit. And allow the breath to begin to travel to where the outside edge of this leg begins to open. Find your breath. And then begin to ease out of it, taking that foot off the knee, engaging the pelvic floor. Finding your way back onto the floor flat, and then dropping your knees the other direction. So as you're breathing into this, allowing the body to open in its own time. As you're ready, let that right foot come up on top of the left knee. Dropping down. Feeling the open begin to happen. Notice where your breath is. Notice what happens in the silence. Is the monkey mind coming into play? Whirling around? Wanting to jump in and create a story that's maybe unreal. Release that foot, bring those knees back to the center. Bring the knees into the chest. Gently rock them side to side. Feel that from the tail, so deep in your bottom, that tail all the way up to the low back. Feel that begin to release. And then lengthen through that left foot. Keep the right foot in, allowing that left foot to stay off the floor. Engage that pelvic floor. Doing just a little bit of core work here. Draw that knee in. Take a nice deep breath. Inhale, switch it out. Hold that posture static. Feel the belly button drop to the spine. Breathe into it. So keeping the belly button in the spine and the pelvic floor engaged, we're going to switch legs. We're going to inhale and switch. Exhale. Inhale, switch. Exhale. Nice and slow. If we start to use it with momentum, the core is not working. Momentum is working. So exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, release it out. Now, if holding your knee off, or your heel off the floor is too hard, you can set that foot down. You can even do it from a bit leg position of here. You're still going to get some core work. But if you really want to strengthen that pelvic floor, strengthen that deep core group by drawing that belly button into your spine, you're going to follow your breath. You're going to slow it down. Let the breath work be part of the movement. So we're also opening the glute muscles, which are very large muscles, and it warms the whole body. We're going to do 2 more rounds. We're almost there. Last one. Come in for the last one. There you go. Nicely done. Both knees in. Bring them in. And then release it out. Hands overhead. Lengthen down. Point your toes. Point your fingers. Take a deep inhale. Let it out. So on the next inhale, we're going to roll straight up. So if that's not with you, you can roll to your side to get there. and come right into Dandasana. Woo! This is the weirdest feeling ever. The best way I can describe it is it feels like after I drink too much wine and you get the spins, which is a terrible feeling, I think. And it's always, it'll come, and as soon as my ears equalize, then it stops. So bizarre. Take a nice deep breath in, open the hands, bring it down. So if you have a strap and you want to use it, you can. If you're stretchy enough that you can reach the soles of your feet, that's awesome. So draw those toes in. Lengthen through your heels, sit up nice and tall. And then exhale straight forward. So this is less about can I reach my toes and more about can I hinge at the hips and how far can I go? So I'm finding that my sit bones are maybe missing. And if you have to move some flesh to find them so they can anchor into the earth, that's fine. Really work down through those legs. Let the quads engage so that the legs grow straight. Do you want a strap? You want a strap? Okay, so we're going to hinge at the hips and we're going to hang out here. So we're going to begin to open the hamstrings because the interesting phenomenon of the low back is that if your hamstrings are tight, your low back will be tight also. Okay, so if you don't have a strap at home, a belt works. A man's tie or a woman's tie, if you wear a tie, works really nicely. And find your breath because we're going to hang out here. Now let's do a couple of little teeny adjustments, okay? Pelvic floor is engaged, belly button to the spine, engage the quads. So your quads are the tops of the legs. And engaging the quads, you're going to kind of spin your feet open. It's that energetic rolling motion that allows the leg to straighten and lengthen. So the lengthening happens through the heels, not the toes, but through the heels. So this is an interesting kind of physics sort of thing. As you press through the heel, the leg straightens down. And if you want, you can take your hand and just put it over the top of your thigh and press down. See if you can feel that in the back of your leg. Yes, there it is. Everybody can feel it. Now exhale forward. Lengthen through that crown. 3 more breaths. You guys have been here a while, so we won't stay too much longer. Nicely done. Inhale, coming up. Bring those hands all the way up. Circle them around. Set them right next to your behind, fingertips facing you. Point your toes. Inhale, lifting straight up into reverse plank. Okay? I'm not going to do it the whole way because it should be in my ears. Lifting up, pull up from the belly button. Let's see. There you go, right there. Lengthen through your crown. No dropping your head back. So if you have to tuck your chin slightly to lengthen through the crown of your head, do that. Find your breath. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, lower down. Coming right back up. Finding that strap. Bring those shoulders up to your ears and down. Grow long. So Dandasana. So this is a supported Dandasana. Drawing those toes up. Rather than our hands beside us on our hips, everything's engaged. Pelvic floor is engaged. Okay, belly buttons to the spine, lifting up. Shoulder blades drawing down. Lengthening through the crown, bringing that head back over your ears over the shoulders, what I like to say. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, forward, leading with your heart. Where does the posture of hinging stop? Keep lengthening through that crown. Sometimes it's a slight tip in the chin to find where that crown grows long. Bring that chin down just a teeny. Grow long up. There you go. Good. Grow long up in your crown, like you're going to touch the ceiling with your crown or maybe the corner of the ceiling. Breathing into it. Now, again, find that the release happens on the exhale. Take a nice deep inhale, drive up. Circle those arms up and around, big circles all the way around. Letting those hands land at your hips, engage that pelvic floor, lift up through the belly button, make it nice and flat. Pull up and in, you got it. And exhaling, lowering down. This time, draw the left knee in. So I want the left knee in. Foot remains close to the right leg, okay? Still working through that right heel. Take a nice deep breath in. I always like to encourage my belly to come with me. Turn into it. So some people are gonna hook their arms around their knees. Some people are gonna drop their elbow on the other side of their knee and open all the way up. With that left arm, spin it around, bring it all the way around. Encourage that twist. Engage through that pelvic floor. Find your breath, belly button. That's right. Encourage that twist, Macy. Bring that elbow down your knee. There you go, keep going. Good. Now bring yourself forward so you're upright more. Walk that left hand in close to your bottom. Keep going, keep going, keep going. There you go, good job. So grow up nice and tall. So much strength in twisting. Something very powerful about turning into whatever's going on. Keep breathing. Stay with it. Grow up nice and tall. Take some pressure off that wrist. Ooh, there you go. And you can bring this hand up like this. There you go. And face it forward so that you're like pushing the energy away. There you go. So as you get deeper in your twisting and you can hook your elbow around the opposite side of your knee. Looks good, Becky. Tessa? I'm imagining it looks amazing. Breathing into it. This deepens on the exhale. Nice inhale. Exhale, lower down. Slowly come back to center. Open that knee. So if you want your strap here, you may use it again. It's right there, laying there, ready to go. Draw that heel in. Sit up nice and tall. I find that sometimes sitting up tall and coming out of this is kind of where we live these days, protecting the heart space. Bring those shoulders up and back and all the way down. Breathe into it. Let this be about sitting tall rather than going forward. Lengthening through your heel. Breathing into it, smile. Soften your face. The hips open with a soft face, oddly enough. What happens above happens below. On the next inhale, grow long in the crown. Exhale, hinge at the hips, headed straight forward. Yes, nicely done. Looks good. Keep growing long in that spine. Lifting, lifting, lift through the crown. It's really easy to collapse in the vertebrae. Take a nice deep breath, come up. Release that left foot into the strap. Wiggle around, find your sit bones. Take a nice deep inhale, exhale, head straight forward. Now, as you head straight forward, Walk your hands down your strap and see what's changed. Are you deeper in this? Me, I'm cheating a little. I'm bending my knees pretty much. So I'm going to engage my quads and lengthen through the heels, lengthening through the back of my legs. Notice the difference of the right hip and the right leg and the right side of the body to the left side. When we twist one way, it opens one side and not the other. Take a nice deep breath up, coming up, bringing that right knee up. Oh, look at, I forgot the reverse plank. Yay. Inhaling, turning around. If you need to encourage that center to come with you, that's fine. I do that. Gives me space to twist. And then walk your hand up, encouraging yourself to be tall. Because we can get this going on, and that's pretty easy, right? No benefit here. Benefit is here. And then look over your shoulder. If you have the space to hook, you can do that. Not happening today for me, but for some of you it will. Work through that left heel. Breathe into it. Feel the heat building in the twist. Over that shoulder. Inhaling, bringing that head back slowly. Oh, this side got cheated, I feel. Oh, well. Open it up. Open that knee. Pick up that strap. Take a nice deep breath in. Inhale up through your shoulders. Roll them back and down. And exhale straight forward. There we go. So the interesting thing about moving really slowly like this, it's interesting. My neck is adjusted like 3 times and my dizziness is going away. So I was kind of hoping that would happen in yoga today. Sometimes in yoga, when we don't feel like we want to do yoga and we get on our mat and we do a little bit and we find our breath, then the body, our vehicle, it's kind of like putting good fuel or changing the oil in our vehicle. We give it what it needs so that it can run smoothly. Grow long in that crown. Keeping long, exhaling a little bit lower. Can you feel the back of the leg opening? Just notice. Notice how when we pull that right leg out of this posture, how it changes the opening. It catches a different part of the back of the leg. What's happening in the monkey mind? Hopefully nothing. Invite it to the back. Put it outside in the car. Find your breath. Inhaling, coming up. Releasing that right leg into the strap with the left leg. Notice where you can stay connected to your sit bones. Grow tall, drop out of your shoulder, and exhale forward at the hips. Hinge at the hips. Lengthen through those heels. Sometimes we find that we like to take the easy road on our mat. And then are we taking the easy road in life? So there's a difference between taking the correct road, taking the easy road. Sometimes the easy road is not the easiest road. But the honest road is the correct one, following your truth, following your path. This has really come in clear for me in the last 5 days that, wow, what shows up in my mind shows up in my body. We wear it. We wear it on our sleeve. We wear it in our tissues. Find your breath, lock in. Releasing that strap down. Now, see if you can touch your toes. If you can, great. And if you can't, that's great too. Just notice. Take a nice deep inhale, coming all the way up. Exhaling those hands down around. Last reverse plank. Hook into the floor, point those toes, lift up from the belly button, bring it in, lift the belly button. So when I say lift up through the belly button, what I'm really meaning is draw the belly button down to the spine and lift up to your head with the belly button. That's where the lift occurs. Two more breaths, you can do it. Give it a full expression. And exhale down on the last breath. Nicely done. Move that strap out of the way. We're gonna spin around. Coming into tabletop, lengthening through the crown of the head, through the tail. And begin with cat-cow, inhaling down, looking up, just reversing what we've done, exhaling up. Inhaling down. Exhaling up. Inhaling. Now, notice if you can, with your breath, follow each vertebrae movement. So it really begins to slow it down. So imagine that as you inhale, you can feel as your neck begins to turn up and the belly begins to drop down and the tail turns up, that you can really follow that movement. And then exhaling up. And inhaling down. And exhaling up. So the strength in this is doing it very, very slowly. Sometimes the hardest things in life that we do are slowing down. We're living in a time right now that's moving really quickly. So what does it feel like to just slow it way down? One more time, all the way through. And all the way exhaling. And then inhaling right into tabletop. And engage that pelvic floor, bring that belly button up to your spine and step that right foot all the way through. Sinking down into low lunge. Okay, we're not going to be here very long. We're just going to open that hamstring, curl the back toe, lift up into high lunge, okay? And step forward into forward fold. Okay, so here we are, in forward fold. Drop that head all the way down. Lengthen through your crown. And then inhale, slowly begin to roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Bringing those hands all the way up over your head, catching that ball of energy, feeling the feet connect to the earth, bringing the hands together, exhaling them down, center line, standing Anjali Mudra. Taking a nice deep breath in, inhaling, circling them around, exhaling. Swan dive forward, nice and slow, all the way down, okay? This time, step your right foot back, all the way back into high lunge, okay? Sink down into high lunge, lower that knee down, coming into low lunge, sink forward, and then step that knee back into tabletop. Coming into tabletop. Find your solid tabletop. Engage that pelvic floor. Inhale. Bring the left foot forward into low lunge. Look at that. Vinyasa did show up today. Sink forward. Curl that back toe. Lift up. Step forward. Maybe. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, reverse swan dive. All the way up. Catch that ball of energy. Take a breath. Feel your feet anchor. Feel those hands connect. Exhale down to your heart. Standing Anjali Mudra. From right here, in prayer position, soften your gaze. Find a dristi. Find a point to lock in on. That's a dristi. Pour into your right foot. Release that left foot off the floor. Open that knee and come into tree. Just a little tree. No arms, just legs. Find your balance. Find your breath. Inhale, release that tree. Coming back into mountain. Inhaling those hands straight up. Open the hands wide so that they're shoulder width wide. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, press through the hip, coming into half moon. Half moon. Lean into it. Make sure that you're initiating the movement through your hip versus through leaning through the side. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, pressing through that left hip. Balancing the body. Feel how the left side feels different from the right side. Just from that one little balance posture. Inhaling up. Exhaling those hands down, center line, coming into standing Anjali Mudra. Connect into your dristi. Pour into the left foot. Release that right foot up, open it up, coming into tree. Tree with no arms. Find your breath, lock in. Sink into that foot as you lift through your pelvic floor and your belly button to your spine. Yumminess and balance. Find your breath. Stepping out of your tree when you're ready. Take a nice deep inhale, drop those hands down, circle them around, all the way around. Exhale, swan dive forward. Stepping back through the left foot, coming into high lunge. High lunge. Lowering that knee down into low lunge. Sinking back, coming into tabletop. Finding your tabletop right here. Lengthen through the crown, lengthen through the tail. Take a nice deep breath in. Step that right foot back forward. Sink forward into lunge, low lunge. Curl that toe in, high lunge. Step that foot forward, meet it at forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Capture that ball of energy. Exhale through the right hip, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. There it is. Feel the work coming through the hips. Good job. Looks good. Find your breath. Inhaling, coming up tall. Exhaling through the left hip. There it is, right there. Imagine at the wall, you're greeting the wall with your hip. It's like you're going to kiss the wall with your hip. Breathing into it. Sinking into both feet while opening the side body. Inhaling up. Exhaling the hands together and down to your heart. This time as you pour in the tree, you can add your arms. So make sure you find your mountain standing on Delay Mudra first. Gauge that pelvic floor, pour into the right foot. Sorry, let's do right first. Release that foot open. Hands can come up, find your breath, lock it in. Exhale those hands together, bring them down to your heart, then step wide out of tree. Give yourself some circles. Open up that pelvis, open up those hips, and then reverse it other way. Nicely done. And then bring it back in. Inhale those hands back up overhead. Exhale into the left hip to Ardha Chandrasana. Kiss the wall. There it is. We're going to go left first. Sink into both feet. Everybody quit breathing at the same time. Find your breath, including me. I quit breathing too. Inhaling, coming back to center. Exhaling the other way. Inhaling back to center. Hands come together. Exhale them down to your heart. Find your drishti. This time we're going to pour into the left foot. Remember, you can add your arms if you want. So a drishti is a point that's not moving that you can lock in on. And put all of your attention on that point. And as you're ready in your tree, if you want to open your arms up, you can. Don't have to. That's just an option. An invitation to try something different. Hands come together, exhaling down, stepping wide out of tree, nice and wide. Circle those hips, big circles. Feel that. See if you can get the sensation of the pelvis being separate from your legs, even separate from the sacrum and the spine. It's the pelvic bowl, reverse that circle. The pelvic bowl is supposed to operate separately, individually. It's supposed to be able to move freely. That's what keeps us flexible. When we get tight in the hips or the fanny, then it causes tightness everywhere else because this is the center of our body. Stepping back to the center, back in the mountain, taking a nice deep breath in. Exhaling, swan dive forward. Stepping back through the right foot, leading the left foot forward. Okay. High lunge first. Lower that knee down. Exhale forward in the low lunge. Bring that foot back into tabletop. Find your tabletop. Find your best one. Lengthen through the crown. Lengthen through the tail. Inhale, dropping down. Nice long breath, fill those lungs. Exhaling up. Inhaling down. So as we inhale down, this is a heart opener. This is a back bend. As we exhale up, this is the back heart opener. This is a forward fold. Who knew that we could do back bends and forward folds from tabletop? And exhaling up. And then inhaling into your full tabletop. Lengthen through that crown, lengthen through the tail. So imagine somebody coming up to you and touching the top of your head and inviting you to lengthen longer, like a turtle, pulling your head out of your neck. And then imagine them touching the back of your bottom, inviting you to lengthen down. So it's this opposing force of lengthening through the crown, lengthening through the tail. Breathe into it. Find the power, find the strength, find your breath. On the next inhale, open your knees and exhale back into child's pose. All the way back. Being mindful of your knees. That if your knees don't bend that way, that you don't go as far back. Notice what's happening in the top of your feet. Are they lengthening along the mat? Give them the space to soften down. So it's always really interesting where we might find holding in the most unusual places. Nicely done. On the next inhale, find your way to coming back into lying on your back. If you want a full vinyasa, you can do that. Feel yourself coming down onto the mat. Feet in standing. Walk those feet in as close to the behind as you can get them. Hands come down on the floor next to you. And take a nice deep inhale. Roll up through the pelvic floor and coming right up into bridge. Okay? So as you're in bridge, it's a really nice thing to imagine a block between your knees. And if you don't want to imagine it and you want a block between your knees, you can have that. It's important to engage those inside thigh muscles, the adductors. And as you lift up through the pelvic floor and the belly button draws down and lifts up towards the head, it helps to lift the belly higher. So as you lift up through those two muscles, it lifts you higher to the ceiling. Keep holding. I'm going to just have a quick look. Looks really good. Breathing into it. Finding where bridge holds you. Where does bridge hold you? Emptying your mind, dropping in. And if meditation emotion shows up and begins to take over, you can follow it. If bridge is where your body feels deliciously wonderful at, find if you can deepen the bridge. Can you, on the exhale, lengthen a little higher up? Squeeze that pelvic floor, those glute muscles a little deeper and lift a little bit higher. But if the body is asking for something different, follow that. Follow that request. Remember to keep breathing. And if you're still in bridge, begin to lower down one vertebrae at a time. And as you come down to the floor, you can find yourself with your knees at your chest. If your meditation emotions stay there, keep going. Follow your breath. Keep going. There's no wrong way to do that. We're going to have about 5 more breaths of meditation and motion. And so as you find your way through your journey, following your breath, as you come to your last breath of meditation and motion, find yourself traveling into knees at the chest. Hug them closely. Rock side to side. Slowly, quickly, it doesn't matter. And then release your knees, but keep them in at your chest. Open your arms into a T position. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale and dropping both knees to your right side, stacking them one on top of the other. And if there's anything in your way, like my blanket's in my way, move it out of the way. So you have plenty of room to stack those knees. And then as you come into that twist, when you're ready, you can look to the right hand or the left hand. Deepening the twist. Breathing into it. Find your breath. Find where you can let go of anything you no longer need, yet being supportive through the pelvic floor to protect the body. The balance. On the next inhale, bring the head back to center. Engage that belly button to the spine and lift those knees back to center. Take a break here. Give yourself a big hug. Exhale as you hug. Inhale, open those arms back up. Exhale, allowing those knees to travel the other direction to the left. Stacking them one on top of the other. Engaging that pelvic floor just to support the low back. And when you're ready, look the other direction. Nice deep breaths. Deep breathing all the way to the bottom of the lungs. That will help keep the lungs clear and healthy. Again, on this side, what is something you can let go of that you're hanging on to? For me, it's my glutes. I have a tendency to hang on in my glutes so tight all the time. But as I lift through the pelvic floor, my glutes can soften, deepening the twist. Inhaling, drawing that head back to center. Exhaling. Inhaling, bringing those knees back to center. Scooping your arms around them. Give yourself a big hug. This is a little bit like reverse child. Deep breath, draw it in. Then lower the legs down, lengthening through the left leg, lengthening through the right leg. Check in. Hey, self, do I need a blanket today? Is it cool in the room? I'm ready for Shavasana. How might I support myself? Palms facing up, feet letting go. Feeling every ounce of everything melt into the mat, melt into Mother Earth. Softening, letting go of the mind. One constant. There's one constant in this human life: change. Moment to moment, breath by breath, there is change. Evolution, growth, change. Welcome change. Accept change. Be grateful for all there is. For all there is change. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. And as you're ready to come back, roll to your side. Come back to seated. Hands at your heart. We'll end with one Om. So we'll take a nice deep breath in, let it all the way out, and then we'll inhale. So deep breath in. Let it out. Deep breath in. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.
Namaste.